Parent trap is when you take your kid to college, you know, where he's under a contract or she's under a contract for a couple $100,000 worth of education, 4 years of their lives. And the college wants to slam the gate on you because the last thing that they want is you being too involved in your kid's choices that you're going to make, that person's going to make there. Hey, it's a balancing act. We know that because you want your child to grow up. But a lot of times when you ask your kid to grow up, you don't give them $200,000 and say good luck. So we want to get parents aware of just how much they need to keep involved with their child. So it's not a one and done. You're in college, goodbye, good luck. It's hey, we're in this together, and we're going to try to protect the family fortune.
And then, Joe, there's another part in Money Trap number 1. And you essentially say in the book that parents who are financially successful are penalized in terms of how much financial aid is available to them. Is that right?
Yeah, that's that whole calculation, Gary, the whole calculus about how financial aid is considered. You know what? If I could approach this, I want to pick up a little bit on what Bill said also, though, if you don't mind, Gary.
Sure.
You know, for years, we have, as parents, we've been building, I call it the family business. And, we've been building this family business. And we want that business to be successful. So now, when you look at it, colleges are a variable in how that family business grows. Now, you want to talk about, yeah, all right. So you have parents who have, well, they've worked hard. They've earned the type of standard of living that they're proud of, and they want their kids to also share in that. And unfortunately, that can work against them when it comes to going to college. Now, this college, I mean, that's a variable in the growth of your family business. Obviously, it could be positive or negative. But every single dollar that a college takes from you, right, affects the enhancement of that family business. So when you talk about, yeah, you're absolutely right that your means can work against you, right? Now, there's other sides of that. We all know about what cultural capital is all about. We know that very often people who have means also have created the pipeline for their kids to be successful in college. Yes, we know that. But from a strict financial standpoint, you're absolutely correct. If you've got the means, sometimes that's going to work against you and you're going to wind up paying more.
And Bill, I know I've seen many references across social media and articles I've read about the PLUS loan, the Parent PLUS loan, if you will. And I've seen a lot of folks say and even recommend that parents never take out a PLUS loan. What's your thought on that in the book?
Well, it's a dangerous thing. One of the things about a Parents PLUS loan is, we talk about the return on investment in a college, and we measure. I don't like the way they do it. They measure simply about how much money you would make in your lifetime, which is only half the battle, to pay it back. But guess what? It's not the parents making that money. The kids make that money, and so. When the parents take a Parents PLUS loan, there's no return on investment of that for them because most parents pay that PLUS loan off, and it puts off their retirement. There could be a lot of bad things that could happen. I mean, the other thing too, and aside from money, which is obviously really important, the simple things that we teach parents to do in this money trap is just simply stay involved. Make sure you know what courses your kids are taking. I've got a real good example. We've got a real good example in there of a student of mine whose mother called me, and the mother has been sending $8,000 a semester to the school where I teach for her child, and this has been going on for almost 6 years, and the kid wasn't talking to her. And she's asking me, well, I can't disclose it because of FERPA. So what I had to do was I had to get the two of them together first, and then once I did that, then the mother was able to ask the daughter what was going on, and then they got back together, which was a really positive thing. And then the mother became invested in the classes. It turned out that this girl, by the way, and this is one of the reasons we call it the Parent Trap. It turns out that this young woman had failed or withdrawn from statistics. I call it statistics, but I think 4 times, and was taking it a 5th time, and she needed that class to graduate. And she was about to withdraw again, and then we found out all these other classes she had withdrawn from. So the mother had no idea why their daughter was still in school after almost 6 years, and wasn't that close. Well, fairly close to graduation, but we got her back on track. But because we were able to activate an alert on the Parent Trap.
And so, Joe, it sounds like Bill is reading my mind, because he's kind of segueing into the next question that I have. And the recommendation you have for parents on Money Trap number 1 is make your financial support of your child conditional upon them giving access to everything. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, that's more than fair. Look, I have my own thoughts about regulations and families, and here's the deal. I'm going to go back to what I said about the family business. Parents have been making sacrifices along the way, financial. I mean, just think of we've suffered through all the cuts and bruises, and then all of a sudden we're going to turn it over to the college, and we don't have a say. And I have a problem with that. I think it requires a sit down with your son or daughter and say, hey, look, if I'm paying the freight here for you to go to college, I want some. I just want some input into these decisions. I want to know what's going on. And I don't think that's unreasonable. I really don't.
Bill and Joe, and I'll direct this one to Bill. We did the initial podcast on this a few weeks ago, and I know one of the things we brought up was your view, and you share this in the book, Bankrupt You, that colleges view students, and to some extent their families, as ATM machines. Bill, what do you mean by that?
Well, they do. I mean, see, you got to understand, colleges are not thinking about your kid beyond the 4 to 6 or in some cases 24 years that they're in school. They're only looking at them as this is how professors, this is how the administrators, this is how the staff, not so much the staff people really, but the professors and administrators look at this. This is our chance to empty as much money out of this student's ATM as possible for as long as we have them here. And that's what they're concentrating on. So they're going to require you to take, 4 years of classes. A lot of those classes are going to be pretty useless. They're not going to contribute much to your future stability or ability to build your own family business at all. And but they're very dedicated to it. They and Gary and Joe, we all know this. I don't think most parents know this. That the universities have set up tremendous in-depth algorithms. They call enrollment management. And what they're doing is they're starting from the moment your child applies or even is interested. And they're figuring out exactly what your financial position is so that they can make an offer to you. And we'll talk about this more in another money trap there. But their whole idea is to decide how much do you have and how much do you have access to through loans. And they're going to encourage you to go into deep debt if that's what it takes for them to get that money from your kid and keep their college open.
And then Bill Quain and Joe Corabi are the professors who pay you back. This is just one in a series of shows we're going to do that delve deeply into their book, Bankrupt You, for parents, for students, of course, for family members, and for others in the higher education industry to really get a better handle on what a college's perspective is on the money side. So, Bill, Joe, I suggest we continue doing this. Until then, for those of you making time to watch the podcast, watch the show, thank you very much. We'll be back soon with another show.